Hey, Jeremy, welcome back.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, excited to have you on. So, for the people that have not heard of you yet or haven't listened to the other episodes on the podcast, let us know who you are, what you do.
Sure. I'm a recovering chiropractor. I don't practice anymore. But I started podcasting over probably 15 years ago at this point, and that turned into a separate business. So we help businesses launch and run podcasts. Really, what we do is help people with partnerships, referrals, clients, authority. It's on the back of a podcast, right? So I started, I've had amazing guests on my show, like Jason Swank, also the co-founder of Pixar, the founder of Atari P90X. So I've been able to learn from some amazing people.
I don't know why my name's in there.
You're in front of me, so I have to say your name.
Yeah, there you go. That's right. The people are like, why'd you bring up Jason's name? Especially my kids or my family. They'd be like, what?
Well, the point is, like, it's interesting because, like, you can get in, I tell people you can get in front of a lot of people, and connect with a lot of people. And I would do it even if no one was listening, just from a professional development standpoint. I've learned so much from people who I've had on as well.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about partnerships. Last week in the mastermind, we were talking about really kind of scaling things that have worked in the past. And I asked everyone, I said, what's been your number one lead generation source? One person said partners. And I said, let's kind of talk a little bit more about that. Let's define that. Everyone has their ideal customer profile, but we started talking about ideal partner profile. And you guys have been an amazing partner. You guys really understand how to build partnerships. So talk about, like, how have you leveraged partnerships to grow Rise 25?
Yeah, I mean, when I ask most people, like, where do your best clients come from? They always say referrals, right? And they go, well, how do you get referrals? Like, I don't know. I just get them when they come. And so we've always thought of, how do you create a predictable referral pipeline? And that's partnerships, right? And for us, it's kind of, we help people. The first thing we do is we do a Dream 200, and we do this ourselves. And Dream 200, people think of that as just clients, but we think of it as strategic partnerships, referral partners. Who are those organizations and people that we share the same clients? And it goes both ways, right? So people, it's funny, and you've said this too, Jason, is the best way to get a referral is
Give a referral.
a referral,
Yeah.
right? And so, because those people also share our clients. And so how do we give? And so our mentality, it's going to sound strange, but is really to look at that Dream 200. Who are the best people in the industry that share similar clients to us? And then what do we do to give as much as humanly possible to those people? And we like to, it sounds weird because we don't expect anything in return. Obviously, we'd like something to happen, but that's not our expectation. And people are like, well, how do you spend so much time on this and then basically expecting nothing in return? Well, we want to partner with people who have the same values as us, who are also givers. Because if we're partnering with givers, they also naturally want to give like us. And if they're takers, they'll just take the referrals, and then we just don't have the same values, right? And so, in Adam Grant's Give and Take book, the most successful people and the least successful people were givers because of that reason. But the first thing is that Dream 200. And then really our overarching value is, how do we give as much as humanly possible? That can look very different for different companies, right? For us, obviously we eat our own dog food. So one thing we would do is we would have them on our podcast, right? And that's a way we can give. So when we look at kind of the pipeline of giving, though each phase of the pipeline is something we should do. Like, it's for you, it's like, okay, what is Jason focused on? Well, he's got an event coming up. How do we refer and get people to his event? How do we maybe introduce him to a sponsor for his event? how do we like all of these pipelines are how do we help that person? It's not how do we get something.
Mm.
Through that, but like, okay, we serve similar things like that company or person will understand what we do and hopefully they'll if they hear of something they'll let us know but it's each phase of it is so we think of when we because we have a pipeline meeting, a referral pipeline meeting 2 times a week. We use Active Campaign. I know you do too, where we have the deals section in Active Campaign. You can use anything. You can use Trello, Pipe Drive. It doesn't matter what you use. We just like Active Campaign. The way we set that up is each phase is something we can give to that person. And so we have, let's say Jason, you're on there, and then we're like, okay, what have we done for Jason lately? And then when we send something to him, okay, let's do a LinkedIn post about him or something like that. Then we'll set a follow up for like, okay, let's put 30-day follow up so that we make sure what are we going to do for Jason in a month? And everyone's going to be different. Like some people, okay, let's do something for them in 3 months, 2 weeks, 6 months. It doesn't matter. But the point is, every person we have on there has a follow up task for us to do something. It could be posting like people like with Jeremy, I don't have a podcast. I'm like, okay, cool, no worries. You can post about the person on Facebook, on LinkedIn. You could comment, go in. If you want to get to Jason, go in on all of his LinkedIn posts, like them, comment on them, and share them. Right. And so it's stuff you could do with little effort to help someone. And so it's all about giving. We have as you know, we have a physical newsletter that we send out when we'll feature our guests in there and other people in there. We have the podcast. We have several podcasts that we run. We'll post about people on social media. We send gifts to people. We also have a formalized referral program where we send ongoing, thank you in the form of money if people refer to us. So there's a lot of different things we do to give, but also really we just think of how do we help that person achieve what they want to achieve.
Yeah. How do you know when it's not the right partner after a while? Because you mentioned some of the best, most successful people are the givers, and some of the people that struggle the most are the givers.
Yeah, I mean, um, it's really I wish there was like a science to it. There's a bit of an art to it, but because again, like we have people that maybe we're in contact with and communicate with, and after like 3 years, they send us a referral. But like I'm not as worried about them sending us anything, honestly. I'm just worried about their mentality. And if they're like just have that giver mindset and want to help, that's what we care about. We have a lot of people in our world that have never referred us anyone. Maybe they've tried to, or maybe they thought about it, but they're just of that mindset. They're connectors and givers, and it's like great. Like we just value what they do, and if we value what they do, then we're going to keep sending people to them, and they have the same mentality. So we're not looking at it as like a scorecard, like oh they haven't sent us anyone in 5 years. It's more of do we really respect them as a human being and as a business person? And we want to keep sending them people, regardless if they think of us.
Yeah, we've had partners in the past. I'm thinking of one partner more recently where we've sent tons of business to, and they never really reciprocated, and that was okay, kind of like what you were saying. But we started hearing rumblings from certain members of going, "Hey, like I had a bad experience. I had another bad experience, a bad experience." So then we reach out to that partner, right? And it's like, all right, we kind of need to end this partnership, right? Because of what you were saying. It was like, because the worst thing you can do is refer someone to someone you recommend, and then they have a train wreck, and then another train wreck, and another train wreck. So it's
Yeah,
yeah, be
because it's
careful.
values, but it's also they are great at what they do, and so you respect that, and appreciation goes a long way too. Like it's funny, like there was one company we were sending 1 to 2 referrals a week to them. If that were me, I literally would get on the phone. I would be like, wow, like, thank you. I would text them, I would email them. And it was like nothing. So it's just a little bit of appreciation goes a long way. And it's like if anyone refers a guest to me, just a guest, right? That helps the guest to get exposure too. But I treat it as like thank you for
Yeah.
trusting me. And I treat that as like I'm going to mention them on the podcast. I'm going to like thank them, and so what can I do to appreciate that person once that happens?
Yeah, for everyone listening too, like Jeremy is a connector, and you're always, mentioning amazing people on the podcast or referring people. Like you're always, he's always been the type of person that's like, what's in it for everyone else? And I think and hopefully it comes back to you as well. I almost, I'm for sure it does, because the people that I always see help the most, they get the most back.
I don't know who said it. I heard it like Dan Kennedy was speaking. I don't know if anyone's heard of Dan Kennedy's. He's got some great books on copywriting, direct response. And he said the whole you give through is the whole you get through as well. And so I just kind of follow that motto.
Yeah, it's a great model. What else do you see, like, for people listening right now? Like, describe your ideal perfect partner.
Yeah, I mean, for us, it's typically someone who serves, and that's a good question because defining it's like, oh, it some people are thinking, these are the type of partners, but if we define it, it actually has a broader scope to it. And so for us, it's really people serving B2B businesses who have a high client lifetime value. And most of the people serving B2B business have a higher client lifetime value. Higher client lifetime value can mean a lot of things, but they can't be selling like $100 widget, because for us, if we are helping them build a referral pipeline or client pipeline, we want our value proposition to be like, well, if they get one client and that client could be worth 10,000, 50,000, we have clients who their client value is over $1 million. Well, they can get one client for the year and pay for us for a couple decades. Or they could get one referral partner every year that refers them one client. And, so when they're thinking, that referral partner year one is still in year two. So then year two, they have a couple, they build up these referral pipeline. So for us, it's that B2B business with a high client lifetime value. And those are the best referral partners for us. And I know you talk about niching. So like in that B2B space, we have people who are in the SaaS, like B2B SaaS space. We have people in the B2B agency space, B2B manufacturing space, B2B. So there are these kind of, obviously B2B is like not really a niche, but there are these sub niches there. And I'll give some examples, right? So if we're talking um, let's talk about SaaS for a second, right? And people are like, okay, who are some good partnerships? There's kind of a list of several things we look at when it comes to partnerships. And there's if you look at where are your ideal people living, so as a generality, conferences, right? So this applies to any niche, right? So conferences. So if someone's listening, like, well, my niche is dentists or whatever, right? Doesn't matter. Okay, where are the conferences that your client is? Oh, what are the dental conferences for this? What are the SaaS conferences? So conferences is a great place to look at.
Yep.
Associations, actually, I think is like an underserved market. Like if you look at, let's just stick on the dental thing for a second, you know, there is the big dental associations. They also have conferences every year. They have thousands and thousands of dentists in their associations. Like you're serving dentists, and you really form a great relationship with the main American Dental Association. That's huge, right? So associations, conferences, softwares in the space, right? And so what are the other softwares that those people use? Okay. So like there's lots of billing or coding or patient software that all these dentists use. So they may have 10,000 dentists using their software platform. That may be an interesting partnership, right? And so those are a couple thoughts, and that's what we look at is who's that one to many relationship. And by the way, software companies for us, you know, they just want to serve their clients. They want more information and content and other things. And so, those are great potential partners. Jason had, I'll give a shout out. I had the founder of Jotform on. Okay. I don't know if anyone's heard of Jotform. They have over 25 million users, just so you know.
That's it.
And the founder bootstrapped it, by the way. So did not take outside funding, was incredibly smart and also just humble, modest person. He built it from scratch. And from a give perspective, I'm like, great. Like I recommend Jotform to people. Okay. We even have a Jotform subscription for some forms. And he was coming out of the book. Okay. And what does he want? He wants more people buying his book, reading. So I bought his Audible book, left a review. And they actually reached out to me though. I didn't reach out to them. They found my podcast and their team reached out to me to have him on. But what can I do? So going back to the referral conversation, sometimes people start coming to you, but you can go to them too. Those are some kind of the broad categories when I'm thinking of partnerships and where our ideal people are living.
Yeah, I mean, for everyone listening, I want you to kind of take away from this I want you guys to sit down with your team and think of what is your ideal partner profile. Whether it be like Jeremy was saying, associations, publications, conferences, technology, other agencies, other competitors, whoever it is, make a list and then, start with 10 at a time and make deposits before you actually try to rob the bank. Like you shouldn't be robbing the bank. Like you should always have more money in the bank than you're actually getting out. Because I can tell you so many people come to me on a daily basis. You have the list. Do you want to make more referral commission or affiliate commission? I'm like, no, I don't. But like if they were smart and they just started sending people my way and introducing, you would get my attention. And I'd be like, man, they're making deposits. Let's chat with them. And if their service was good and they lined up with our values, like Jeremy was saying, then I would start sending them a ton of business. But not many people do that. Like maybe 1 out of 1,000.
Yeah. I mean, when I'm reaching out to someone, I'm trying to reach out in a fashion that I'm trying to help. Because someone one time said, Jeremy, how come all these people answer your phone calls or respond to your emails? I'm like, because when I'm messaging them, I'm not asking for something. And usually, when I leave a message for you about something, I basically say, don't call me back. You don't have to call me back. But here's what I'm thinking that hopefully will help. Right. And I'm just saying, I'm not trying to take up someone's time. Right.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thanks so much, Jeremy, for coming on. And anybody that, you all know that I truly believe in podcasting. We've been doing this for a decade. And podcasting has changed our business's future. It's changed so many businesses' future and agencies. And if you're an agency, you don't have a podcast, there's no excuse. There are people out there like Rise 25 and Jeremy that I highly recommend. All of our members use Jeremy's company to start and continue to do the podcast. So make sure you guys reach out to rise25.com. That's right. The right URL, right? Just want to make sure.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, and my podcast is inspiredinsider.com. We have free resources. I mean, this is the same thing with yours, Jason. I've listened to, I don't want to admit how many, probably over 300 episodes, but, inspired, we have free episodes like for people who like want to learn about, you just put in the search box, inspiredinsider.com, put it in podcasting, and we have a bunch of free resources there too.
Awesome. And if you guys want to hang out with Jeremy and myself and 30 or 40 other amazing agency owners. We're having an event in February in Phoenix, Arizona. So if you want to kind of join us for a transformational event, really designed for agency owners, really looking to kind of break that routine and really discover those practical strategies to really gain that clarity and go beyond those immediate challenges and really connect with amazing people. I want you guys to go to check out elevatemyagency.com. That's elevatemyagency.com. And until next time, have a swank day.
I hope you enjoyed this content. If you want more content like this, make sure you click on the link on the screen or check out your most popular podcast platform where the full episode is there. And until next time, have a swank day. What are you doing? Go check it